apples come from? Contrary to popular belief, they don't magically appear on grocery shelves. This year, I was invited to tour with the Ontario apple growers. We headed to Wilmot Farms to the apple orchards and onward to a packing plant. This trip was made mid-October, and although apple picking is finished for the most part, the trees are still laden with ambrosia that is picked in the mid to late fall. We started off at Wilmot Farms in Bowmanville. This farm is owned by the Stevens family, Charles and Judy, and their daughter, Courtney. Courtney is the 7th generation farmer in the Stevens family. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys, and ring the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And make sure to click on all of the apple recipes at the end of this video as well as in the description. Ian Parker, who's the orchard manager, is very knowledgeable, and it blew my mind to learn how much strategy and science is involved in keeping the apples safe. Everything is calculated: the height the tree is allowed to grow to and the distance between each tree and the rows. The trees are also thin so that they produce the right amount of apples. If the tree is overproducing, there are many methods to trim back the apples to maintain quality, including thinning, pruning, and applying certain products. Machines such as frost fans are used to suck in the cold air and push it upwards, pushing the warm air back onto the orchard. The difference, even if it's a few degrees, can save the crop. They also protect the crop from hail using a hail cannon. This farm grows about 10 varieties of apples, and at this time of year, the ambrosia is ripe for the picking. This is a fairly new apple discovered in British Columbia in the early 1990s. This was found growing in the orchard among another apple variety. This fruit is typically picked late fall. Here are some other varieties of apple trees that have already been picked. Notice that there's a lot of fruit on the ground. In commercial growing, if the apples touch the ground, they cannot be sold under food safety protocols. I asked the farmer why the fruit couldn't be saved by installing a net, and the answer he gave me made perfect sense. When the apple falls, even if it's caught in a net, when it collides with another apple, it will bruise, which makes it unsellable. Also, the cost of picking the apple on the ground for organic waste or cattle feed is labor-intensive and too expensive. So the best is to leave it on the ground to fertilize the soil for next year's crop. A group of eager bloggers have plenty of photo ops to get up and personal with these beautiful, stellar fruit. Here you see my friend Punita from Maple and Marigold look for the perfect shot. As I was busy admiring the flawless fruit that Eve lured Adam with, I spy a group of pickers. These pickers typically are seasonal agricultural workers that come from Mexico and Barbados to work in the orchard, and they pick fruit every year. They live on the farm between 4 to 8 months, and then they either transfer to another farm or they go back home till the next season. The farmers that run this farm are filled with passion and love for the apples. After a busy morning trudging through the apple orchards, we are served a delicious apple-themed lunch, and these gorgeous apple centerpieces made by the owner, Judy Stevens, caught my eye. After lunch, we made our way to Algoma Orchards to meet Kirk Kemp, a partner with Mike Gibson. In addition to running apple farms, they run a top-notch apple packing and storage facility and a juice processing plant. Apples arrive by the bins and they start to move in massive streams of water to wash the apples, and any stems and leaves are removed. It's also a gentle way to move the apples through the grading process. It minimizes bruising and damage to the fruit. Anything that hasn't come off will be manually picked off. The apples are then photographed 50 times and monitored by this machine. The fruit that are less than perfect are separated from the perfect fruit. These move on belts like a highway of apples. This plant can process up to 9,000 cases of apples per day. Kirk Kemp guides us through the plant, and we hang on every word. The apples are kept in temperature-controlled storage rooms till they are ready to be packed. Once the apples are ready to be sold to the grocery store, they move through the plant on the belts and are sorted and boxed by staff. Many of the popular brands you see are packed right here. Boxes of apples are rushed out of here onto trucks to make it into the stores just for you. And what does one do when one has too many apples? Make apple juice and cider, of course. Algoma Orchards invested in a state-of-the-art facility to make apple juice that supplies many big brands. Their tanks are insulated, which gives them a much longer shelf life. The lab on site monitors the quality of the apple juice. Cider is made in this chamber, including a mull cider. Spices are added to the machine. Everything is temperature controlled and the tanks are closely monitored. To keep the facility germ-free, the ground is filled with soap suds. This was really fun to walk through. On our way out, we were sent home with some cider and a nice big bag of Gala apples. Yum!